Hi, this is Heather with Cafe Mom, and welcome to day 4 of StepMom Life in the Trenches. Today I'm going to talk about something that actually just happened to me. I stopped at Starbucks, treated myself to a venti Pike's Place with room for cream, and got in the car, and instead of paying attention, I went and put it in the cup holder. Well, I didn't notice that I had like a napkin in it, so the cup was unbalanced. When I turned the corner, the coffee tipped over, and a good amount spilled all over my leg. Thankfully, I had jeans on. It was a little bit of an ouchie, but no major damage. But for me to think that it's Starbucks' fault or hot coffee's fault for burning me, no. It's my fault. I wasn't paying attention. I was in a hurry, and I put the coffee cup down and didn't check to make sure it was balanced. And as I was driving, I'm thinking, you know what? How many times do I do that in my job as stepmom? How many times do I know there's certain topics that there has to just be the right mood to talk to my husband about, or that just needs to be the right time to talk to my stepdaughters about, and still, I do it. I know it ahead of time. I know I should check to kind of make sure it's a good time. I just plow in. And then I get an unbalanced response. I'm kind of going in unbalanced. They're giving me an unbalanced response. I think it's something that we just do as humans in many relationships, but it can be more challenging, I think, for us stepmoms because we really do have a heart for our kids and we have a heart for our husband. And oftentimes, we've got something on our mind, and so, we think we've got to share it. I mean, I'll be honest, there's been many times in the past, I'm much, much better over the last few years, but there's many times where my husband would walk in the door from a really, really long day, and he doesn't even have his shoes off, and I'm like, he's like, how was your day? And I'm like, well, this, and this happened, and he's just like, whoa, I just asked, how was your day? And I just walked in the door. That's not the right time to talk. It doesn't mean that we can't talk about those things, because we can talk about them, but having a predefined time to talk about something. So I think that's the takeaway for today. That's the thing I want you to think about. Are there topics that are tough for you to discuss with your spouse or with your stepkids? Are there difficult discussions that you have to have with your stepkid's mom? Knowing that, is it best to maybe check and say, hey, is it a good time for us to talk about this? And respect them if they say no. Well, can you get back to me? Because I really think we need to talk about this, and I totally understand if it's not a good time right now, but can you just kind of cycle back with me and let me know? So we're not saying that we shouldn't talk about topics. We're just saying it's oftentimes a good idea to check in and see if it's a good time with the person. Because these topics are tough, especially when we're talking about kids. We're talking about our husband's kids. I mean, we might be truly coming from a great place in our heart and wanting to talk about something that we're really concerned about. And if they're not in a right frame of mind, all they can hear is your kid is bad, you're a bad parent. And that is not what we are saying, but that's what we're hearing. So, sorry to digress a little bit, but the spilling of the hot coffee all over me because I wasn't being mindful of where I set the coffee really reminded me of the importance of being mindful as a stepmom and being mindful on certain topics that are very difficult and very touchy for those that I love. So, your homework is to think about those topics that you need to be more mindful of, and to just take a second when you want to bring it up to ask yourself, is this the right time? And should I check with that person to see if it's the right time? And just to try that and see how it works. I'd love to know. And I'd also love for you to share any questions or concerns you've got as a stepmom, because I'd love to address them. And if things are working from a mindful perspective, I would love to hear. So thanks for joining me for day 4 of Life in the Stepmom Trenches in Vlogtober. And until tomorrow, stay strong and press on. Thanks.